Hey guys, so today we're gonna continue off from where we left off from the last video. So let me just refresh your memory a bit. The last video was where I showed you how to make shapes and rename shapes, how to select, drag, and move the camera around. It was that video. So today we're gonna continue on from where we left off from that video. So let me also say that the last thing I taught you, most recent thing I taught you in the last video was that if you got lost, like if you zoom too far in or too far out and you don't know how to get back to your shapes, uh, just press O on your keyboard and you'll get back to the shape that you've highlighted. So today we're gonna continue on from that tip, and I'm gonna show you how to do the different settings for each shape, the parent-child relationship, and the text feature. So let's start with the different settings for each shape. So each shape has its own unique settings. So if I click on Homer, you see on this bottom right here, this is the settings box, and here you see there are different settings. There's the basic, where you could rename it just by typing it in here. You could rename it up here. And visible in renderer, visible in editor, that means it's visible. That means you can see it in here now. And use color, we'll get to that later. And there's also this X-ray feature, where if you click it, Homer, you see Homer kind of becomes transparent, like it's like a little X-ray. So that's that button. Now here are the coordinates. Now, as I showed you in last video, you can type in your own coordinates, type in your own degrees, and Homer will rotate and move to these specific degrees. And you can also increase Homer's size. So if, let's say you want to increase Homer's size in the X direction to make him more like a rectangle. So you just click the up button, and you notice how he starts extending himself in the X direction. Now another way to do that is to just press these orange buttons as I've showed you last time. So there are multiple ways to extend them. I'm just gonna click undo, then drag them back. Okay. Third tab is the object tab. Now, once again, here's like you can extend them in different directions. Oh, I'm running low on battery, so I'm just gonna plug my charger in. Hold on. All right then, let's continue. So here's the size X, size Y, and size Z. You can extend them in all three dimensions. I'm gonna click undo again, and you can change his segments too, but this we'll get to in the next tutorial. And separate surfaces means that each side I believe that each side is different, so you can just modify and extend each individual side. Fillet, this button means that it smoothes out the edges. So once you click fillet, these options become available. Fillet subdivisions, that we'll get to later, and fillet radius, which means you can decrease the radius, increase or decrease the radius of the fillet, like the round edges. You can change how long or how short they are. Last one. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna unclick fillet. Last tab on Homer is font. Font angle is kind of like a refraction angle. So if you click it, if you set the angle to over a specific angle, like 90 degrees, you see how the light kind of refracts and reflects off Homer if you go to 90 degrees or above. So that's the font angle. Just basically what angle you want the light to be, like how shiny or how reflective you want it to be. So for Marge, because Homer is a cube, now if you click on Marge, she's a cylinder, so she has different kinds of settings. She does share some settings with Homer, but she has her own unique settings as well. So there's the basic X-ray, that's the same as Homer. Coordinates, size, rotation, that's the same. Now the radius, you can change her radius, you can change her height. You can change her height segments, rotation segments. You can change her orientation. So if I want it to be oriented toward the X, then she'll be rotated. Yes, the caps, which means, well, caps doesn't doesn't caps doesn't really show up here, but we'll get to that later. Now there's the fillet button too. There's the slice button, which means if you slice Marge, if you click the slice, Marge will be sliced in half. Now you can change how many degrees she's sliced. So if I want to slice her just 90 degrees, I'm going to click from 0 degrees to 270 degrees. Now you see she's only sliced 1/4. She only sliced at a wide angle. So that's what you can do with slice. And if you want to change your back, just unclick slice. And of course there's the font angle, but that isn't really important now. It'll be more important as we later when we get into more complex shapes. So each other shape here has their own unique settings. So feel free in your own time to experiment, create, it's like discover new settings, just play around with each of these shapes and their individual unique settings. So now I'm gonna create 3 new shapes. Now if you watch The Simpsons, you'll know that Homer and Marge have 3 children named Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. So I'm gonna create them right now. Let's make let's see. Let's make Lisa a cube. Gonna call her Lisa. Now we're gonna make, let's see. I guess let's make Bart a tube. Oh wait, that's really big. Actually, let's see. Let's make Bart a pyramid. Gonna move him out here. And let's make Maggie a sphere. Yeah, she's like a sphere. Okay. I'm gonna scale them down because of course they're supposed to be small. They're way smaller than Homer and Marge. So Maggie's like, okay, let's just scale them down to this size. Let's take Lisa and scale it down too. And Bart as well. Okay, let's spread them out a bit. Well, Maggie needs to stay next to Marge. Well, let's see, let's make Lisa go over here. And Bart go over here. Okay, so we can see them more clearly this way. So now I'm going to show you something called the parent-child relationship. Now, the parent-child relationship is very useful, and especially if you don't want to drag each individual shape at once. If you want, like earlier I taught you in the last video how to move 2 shapes at once relative to each other. That's by shift. That's you shift and click and control click to draw. Now, the parent-child relationship brings another way to do that with its own unique properties. Now, the parent-child relationship enables 2 objects to move relative to each other at the same time as well, but it also enables one or more of these objects to move independently. So, first off, I'm going to show you how to make a shape, a child of a shape. So the parent-child relationships, there's one parent, there's a parent shape and one or more child shapes. So right now I'm gonna make Bart a child of Homer. So how I do that is I click Bart, have him highlighted, and then I click and hold, drag Bart over to Homer. And as you can see, when my mouse is on Homer, there's this down arrow and then a box. And I let go, and now you see Bart is like a child of Homer. So what this means is I'm gonna click on Homer, and wherever I make Homer move, Bart is gonna go also, because Bart is a child of Homer. Now if I click on Bart, because Bart is just a child of Homer and not a parent, so Bart does not control where Homer moves. He can just move by himself and Homer does not follow. Now, because Homer controls Bart, he is the parent, and so where he moves, Bart also moves. You can also have multiple children. So let's go ahead and click Lisa, drag them down to Homer as well, and Maggie, and drag them home. I'm not gonna make Marge a child of Homer because Homer doesn't really control what Marge does. Let's see. So now Homer has 3 children of Homer now. That is Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. So I'm gonna click on Homer again, and wherever he goes, Maggie, Lisa, and Bart also go. I'm gonna click Bart, and as you can see, Homer doesn't go with Bart because Homer's a parent. But Maggie and Lisa also do not follow him because Bart is just an individual child of Homer. Maggie and Lisa are also children, but Bart does not control where Maggie and Lisa goes because Maggie and Lisa are not a child of Bart. They are a child of Homer. So the same goes for Lisa and Maggie. Actually, I'm gonna make Maggie a child of Marge because Marge often holds Maggie. So yeah, I'm gonna move him over here to Marge. Maybe a little higher. There we go. So also, I want to bring up that you can have multiple generations, like not just one generation of parent-child. You can also have a child of a child. So this is how you do it. If we want to make Lisa a child of Bart, just click Lisa and drag them to where Bart is, and now Homer is a parent of Bart, who is a parent of Lisa. So if I click Homer, drag him, both Bart and Lisa follow. If I click Bart, only Lisa follows now because Bart does not control Homer. If I click Lisa finally, she only moves by herself because she's at the bottom of the parent-child chain. So that is what parent-child relationship is. Now, there's another shape in here I want to show you. It's called the null. Now the null somewhat relates to the parent-child relationship, is that it's very convenient in moving a bunch of shapes at once. So if you click, I'm going to click on null. Now the null is only a point. Now hold on, I'm gonna drag Maggie over to let's see. I want to drag Maggie to where Marge is, a little bit closer. Okay. There we go. Make Maggie child Marge. Okay, now that's better. So let me get back to the null. The null, as you can see, it's just a point. So it's not really useful to modify, but if I place this null, this dot at the center of all these shapes, so click on Marge and drag over here to make it more complete. You see the null is just a little dot here. Now the null is useful in doing the parent-child relationship. So I'm gonna make Maggie, Bart, and Lisa all individual now, not controlled by everyone. I'm gonna make every shape here, the whole Simpsons family, as children of the null. So I'm gonna drag Marge, Homer, and now all of them are children of the null. Now, the null is very convenient because you can have, as you can see where I drag the null, all these shapes follow. So it's like a fixed set. It's like a fixed piece. All the shapes fall in place and move wherever the null goes. Now this is convenient because this is different from the parent-child relationship in that in the parent-child relationship, say if Homer is a parent of Bart and Bart is the child, wherever Homer goes, Bart is forced to go. Where Bart goes, Homer does not go because Homer is a parent of Bart, not his child. But wherever Homer goes, Bart also has to go. Now for the null, this is different. Where the null goes, all shapes follow. But just if, like Homer, where he goes, no one else follows. So the null is just a way to be able to make all the shapes move at once and then have each shape be able to move individually. So that's what That's what the null is useful for. Now the last thing I'm gonna show you guys today, I'm gonna leave this over here and then I'm gonna rotate it. Hold on a second. Make some more space for my next feature. I'm gonna show you the text feature. The text is basically some words are gonna show up here, and you could change what it says. And now I'm gonna show you the text feature is not located in the shapes feature. The text is located in the spline feature. The spline is basically where you could draw lines or have these different like circles, or just draw different lines that may make up shapes or other stuff. So these 6 are the manual splines where you could draw your own spline, draw your own line. And spline is basically a line that you could draw to make objects. And if you drag objects onto the spline, the objects can move wherever the spline goes. So I'll explain this in more detail in later tutorials. But today we are focusing on the text. So text can be found in the spline feature. So you could just drag down to text and let go. And the text is over here. Now, also I want to remind you that every time you create a new object, it always reappears in this same exact spot. So if you want, you have to drag it and rotate it to where you want to go. Now, because text is positioned this way, I'm gonna just align my perspective camera to be this way right now. So here's the text. As you can see, it has individual settings: basic, coordinates, and object. Now this is the one I want to focus on. The object settings. This is a whole different variety of settings. You can change the font, regular alignment. You can change the height. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it. As you can see, the height changes. The height goes bigger. Horizontal spacing. You can change the spacing between the letters. Vertical spacing. That's only if you have multiple lines. Separate letters. Each letter is separate and can be modified individually. Plane means it could be aligned to a different plane. So if you want, right now it's an XY. Make it be aligned to ZY. So now it's aligned to the Z and Y axis. Go drag off here. That's the angle I want. I'm gonna just keep it at ZY so that there aren't any objects in the background to block it, to maybe obscure it a little bit. Now I'm gonna hold on a second. Okay. And you can change the angle, how much it's rotated, and you can change its points, like adaptive or uniform. That changes how far the individual points on this are next to each other. It can either make the words broader or wider, or you can just experiment these settings on your own, and you can find out. Now, how we change the text is we go over here. Can change the text, like click on this text box where you can see here it says text, so on here it's written text. Now you can change that by clicking on it and changing it to that. I'm gonna say, let's see, I'm just gonna say 3D design is number 1. Now if I press enter, it's gonna just move to a new line. So if I want to like establish that as the actual text, I have to click somewhere, like most preferably up here. I'm gonna click here to just let this know that I'm done editing. Go click this. Now you see I have new text. 3D design is number 1. Also, you could change the font. I think I told you that already. And up here, you can rename the text. But when you rename this text, how you rename this object does not change what the text actually reads down here. That you have to change from this box. So that concludes today's tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know, and hope this was very helpful. And next tutorial, in the next video, we're going to be learning how to, or I'm going to be showing you how to make an object editable, how to include segments, and how to create colors, like color up an object and maybe make it glow and transparent. These are all, you can all do that in just one setting. That's what I'm going to show you next video, and that concludes today's video. So hope this video was a big help, and I'll see you later.